All right, here you guys at home. Here we are. It is Monday or Friday. Monday. No, next time you hear from me, it'll be Monday. So anyway, we're looking at inequalities today. Inequalities means they are not equal or they have multiple solutions. Put the phones away. Multiple solutions. Is it off? Multiple solutions here means it could be more than one. If something is greater than 6, well, 7 is greater than 6, 8 is greater than 6, 8.5 is greater than 6, 9.2 is greater than 6. You have a huge number of solutions. Whereas when we had x equals 6, it was only 6 and only 6. So we have a few different inequality symbols here. We have this one right here, which we start from left to right, and this happens to be the larger side. And one way that you can tell that, what side's the larger side, if I put dots here on the ends, this side has 2 dots, this side has 1 dot. The side with 2 dots is the greater. Are you paying attention? Or are you looking through your book bag? What side's the greater, the left or the right? So we put 2 dots there, 2 dots on this side. This is the greater side. There's 1 dot here. That's 1, that's the less side. So you read it as you go. So as I'm reading here from left to right as in a book, this is greater than, this is less than, because I hit the greater first, I hit the less second. Same thing, greater, but this has an equal sign under these. You ever see that? Look up here. That's an equal sign. Basically, it has an equals under there, but we only use one line. So it's greater and equal. Here it's because less starts first, it's less and equal to. So if I look at this one right here, and I just rewrote this, the same thing, I just wrote it larger so you could see it. This is V, which is what we're looking at, and it's the less or greater side, the 2 dots. Chris, you're my master. It's the less or greater? Less. No, it's 2 dots and 1 dot. What's bigger? 2 or 1? 2, so it's the greater. So this is V is greater, and then we have the equal sign. V is greater or equal to 6. So here's the thing when we have these open and closed. When I say open, I mean an open circle. Because we're not going to use the number that's going to be in the center. We don't use it, we go around it. Whereas when we have this equals part here, we want our dot to be closed because when we're equal to something, we use it. So we're going to use that number. Same thing over here, this less than or equal to, our dot will be closed. So as we look here, where V is greater or and equal to 6. So I'm going to find 6, which is right here on my number line. And since it's equal to it, that little crosshair that you see there, it kind of looks like this. That's this part right here. That crosshair is actually 6. This is the label of 6. This is not the number, this is the number 6. We want that to be closed because we're using the 6 because it's equal to it. Now, the greater numbers, V, we look at the variable, we go to it, it's the greater numbers. Well, which way are the greater numbers? Are the numbers greater to the right or to the left? More value. Does 7 have more value than 6 or does 5 have more value than 6? 7. So actually we will say that all of these numbers, and I draw a line, all those numbers from 6 on will do this correctly. If I made V as 6, is 6 greater than or equal to 6? Equal? Is 6 equal to 6? Yes, so it satisfies it. We put 7 in there. Is 7 greater than or equal to 6? It's greater than, so it works. 15, is 15 greater than or equal to 6? Yes, it's greater. What about 5? Is 5 greater or equal to 6? No, it's less. So we have multiple solutions. It's all the solutions from 6, including 6 and on. Let's look at number 2. Now, this one happens to be backwards from the other one, but that's okay. We still have a greater side and we have a less side. We look at the variable. When we read these, we want to read them from the variable on. So x is what? Is that greater or less? That. Yeah, what's facing the x's we're looking at. X is less than 6. Is there an equals here? No. So we're going to go up to 6, and we're going to put a big old circle around it, around 6, around that little crosshair, because we're not using 6. If I put 6 in there for x, guys, 6 is not less than 6. 6 is equal to 6. We lose the 6 at this point. Here we used it. Here we don't use it. And by the way, you need to read it this way because then it tells you where to put your arrow. X is less. Where are the less numbers, guys? To the left or to the right? 7 is less than 6. 5 is less than 6, right? Is -1 less than 6? Chris, why are you looking at me like a deer in the headlights about to get struck by a semi-truck? It's an easy question. Is 2 less than 6? Does 2 have a less value than 6? Yes. So I want my arrow to go this way where the less numbers are. Do not follow that old trick that some people used to teach a long time ago where they say, follow where the arrow points. That's where you go. No, because if the variable is on the other side, that doesn't work. You need to see what is facing the variable. The variable is less than 6. So it goes this way because you put it towards the less numbers. I think all of us are right-handed in here, right? Right-handed, your right-hand side is your bigger numbers. Your left-hand side is your weaker numbers, right? Strong hand, weak hand. Get used to that. All right, let's look at number 3. Here we go. We have another 6 one here. But we look at the variable. We read it from the variable on. So is this the greater or less side? Greater or less side, somebody? On number 3 here. It's the greater side facing the variable. We have an equals, -6. So m is greater than or equal to -6. We go to -6 on the number line. Now we're going to put an open or closed circle there. What do you think? We're using it, so is it open or closed? No, it's closed. It's closed because we're using it. Think of it this way. If I'm using that, look up here. If I'm using it, I'm putting my finger on it. And if I had ink on there, I would leave a blotch all the way around 6. It would cover it. If we're going to use it, we're going to cover it. You ever have somebody touching you and you tell them not to touch you and they go, I'm not touching you. Look, I'm not touching you, but I'm going around you. I'm not touching you. That's exactly what you're doing here when you're not using it. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching 6. The 6 is the crosshair. M is greater. So which way do I go, right or left? I go to the right. That's where the greater numbers are. And I prefer you go just a little above it because then I can see what you're doing. All right, let's look at 4. It's -6 again, so that's right here. Now we start from the variable v, and we go, and what is facing the v, the greater or the less side? The greater side is facing the v. So this reads this way, v is greater than -6. By the way, if you read it the other way, it's -6 is less than v. But just read it from the variable on, and it'll keep you here. So do I have an equals sign? No. So is it open or closed, Chris? We don't have an equal sign. We're not using it. Therefore, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. No, open. Good try. All right, open. And it's greater. V is greater. Which way are the greater numbers? To the right. Don't look at the arrow. That is not true because it is completely backwards if the variable is on the right-hand side. Look at what's facing your variable. It's the greater, so the greater goes to the right. Let's look at number 5. Christopher, let's try it again. So here's the x. What's facing the X, the greater or the less side? The greater, because there's 2 dots and there's only 1 here. So is it equal or less? Or equal? I'm sorry, is it equal? What does that line mean? Equal. So we're going to use -4. So if I'm going to use -4, I need to put a dot or go around it. I'm going to use it, so I'm going to touch it. I'm going to touch it. It's closed. I'm holding on to it. Holding on to it. See, Chris, look at this. If I'm going to hold on to this marker, right? And you can't see this at home. If I'm going to hold on to this marker, I have to close my fist, right? But if I don't hold on to it, I have to do what with my fist? I have to keep it open. So if I'm using it, it's closed. If I'm not using it, it's open, okay? So equals means using. Okay, Chris, bigger side, right? So am I going right or left? Where are the bigger numbers? Greater numbers? No, they're to the right, kid. Just look at the number line. 7 is greater than -7. Remember, greater is your right hand, your strong hand. All right, here we go. X is it less or greater? Anybody?
It's greater.
From the X, from the variable. Less. Is it equal?
Yes, sir.
So are we going to we'll go to -6, are we going to put a dot or a circle? It's equal. It's closed. Because we're using it. If it's equal, we're going to use it. I know it's tough. We're going to get through these though. So it's less. Which way do we go? Left or right? Left, because our less numbers are left.
-3 is open.
All right. It is going to be an open. Do you see that, Chris? There's no equals, so we're not going to use it, so we put an open circle around it.
It's greater to the X too.
And yes, it's greater to the X. There are 2 dots, greater to the X, and greater numbers are to the right. Let's look at number 8. It's the last one we're going to do in the video. You can just continue to rewatch this. This really goes all the same way. I have plenty of examples here from both the variable on the right and on the left. Yes, sir.
It's open again.
It is open because we don't have an equals, so we're not going to use it. We put a circle around it. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. And what's facing the variable, the less or the great? And that goes left or right? Left. So by the way, all these numbers, 1, if you put a 1 in here, 2 is greater than 1, true. Put a 0 in here, 2 is greater than 0, yes. 4, -4, 2 is greater than -4, correct. If I put 6 in there, 2 is greater than 6, no, so it wouldn't work. And we're just getting used to the open circle, closed circle, and which direction it goes. We'll be solving these using our steps, but for right now, and you have a bunch of these. So I gave you the odds so that you can look, and you can look back at what you did. Oh my goodness, look, if I get one and I know it's, let's say it's this problem, 3 is greater than X, and I go, okay, this one, oh, there's a problem with the open one like that, or with the no equals, oh, I got to put a circle. So I go to 3 and I put my circle. And then I notice that this side, okay, there's one just like it, and it is less, that went left. So get to know that. Follow those easy peasy steps and you'll get there. All right, guys, have a good weekend. Be safe.